All right, let's dive into something that has completely changed the game in modern tech: infrastructure as code, or ISE for short. We're going to talk about how this whole idea takes the super complex, hands-on job of building IT infrastructure and turns it into something you can manage just like, well, any other piece of software. But to really get why it's such a big deal, we have to look back at the world it came from.
To really understand why ISE is so revolutionary, you have to appreciate how painful things used to be. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. Imagine you're a developer, you're ready to build something amazing, and you're told to wait weeks for a server. That was the reality, and it was a huge, huge drag on innovation.
And that brings us to the old way. We're talking about a world of manual IT. Picture this: an IT admin physically plugging in servers or just clicking through endless web forms and configuration screens. One wrong click, one tiny typo, and the whole thing could come crashing down. It wasn't just slow and frustrating, it was the ultimate bottleneck. It stopped progress dead in its tracks. So, to get out of that manual mess, we needed a totally new way of thinking. And that's where infrastructure as code comes in. Now, this is more than just a new tool. It's a fundamental shift in mindset. It's about taking all the best practices from software development, things like version control, testing, and collaboration, and applying them directly to building and managing infrastructure.
So what is it really? Well, put simply, IAC is just the practice of managing all your tech stuff, your servers, your databases, your networks, all of it, using code. Instead of clicking buttons, you write a file that describes exactly what you want your infrastructure to look like, and some automation tool goes out and builds it for you. Simple as that. The absolute core idea is this: define everything as code. We're talking virtual machines, firewall rules, network settings, the whole shebang. It all gets written down in definition files. And just by doing that, your entire infrastructure suddenly becomes transparent, you can track changes to it, and you can repeat it perfectly every single time. Okay, but how does writing a few lines of code actually turn into real running servers and networks? Well, the magic behind it is a really powerful approach that most IAC tools use. It's called the declarative model. So it really comes down to two ways of doing things. The old way is imperative. It's like giving someone turn-by-turn directions. Go straight, turn left, then turn right. You have to list every single step. But the declarative approach, the one IAC loves, is more like just plugging a destination into your GPS. You just define the what, the final state you want, like, hey, I need 5 web servers and a database. Then the system is smart enough to figure out the how all by itself. And this declarative style leads to this beautiful, simple, and most importantly, safe workflow. You see this in tools like Terraform all the time. First, you plan. The tool shows you exactly what it's going to create or change or delete. No surprises. Then, if you like what you see, you apply, and the tool makes it happen. And when you're all done with it, you just destroy everything, and it cleans up after itself automatically. So clean. So why go through all this? Why make this shift? Well, because this new way of working unlocks some massive, massive benefits. Adopting IAC delivers huge value, and we can really boil it down to 3 big payoffs. First step: pure speed and consistency. By automating everything, you completely get rid of the manual work and those weeks of waiting. Deployments that used to take days can now be done in minutes. And because it's all defined in code, you get the exact same environment every single time. That classic, well, it works on my machine problem, yeah, that starts to disappear. Second, it's a massive boost for your developers. They don't have to file a ticket and then just sit around and wait anymore. They can literally spin up the infrastructure they need all by themselves using code that's probably been written and reused before. This means they get to focus on what they're actually paid to do: building awesome applications. And third, you just slash your management overhead. Think about it. Instead of needing separate admins for storage and for networking and for servers, those roles start to blend together. This frees up your most talented tech folks from doing boring, repetitive tasks so they can focus on bigger, more strategic work that actually moves the business forward. But of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Adopting IAMEC is a journey, and let's be real, it comes with its own set of challenges that you definitely need to think about. The first hurdle is just the skills gap. Your team needs to learn new and pretty specific languages, whether that's HCL for Terraform or YAML for tools like CloudFormation and Ansible. There is a learning curve. You can't just flip a switch and expect everyone to be an expert overnight. It takes a real investment in training.
Next up, security has to evolve. Your traditional security tools, the ones that scan servers that are already up and running, they're not enough anymore. The whole game shifts to scanning the code itself for misconfigurations before anything ever gets deployed. It's a much more proactive way to handle security, but it requires new tools and new ways of working. And the third big challenge is monitoring. In this new dynamic world, resources are constantly being created and destroyed. Your old school tools and spreadsheets just can't keep up. It becomes incredibly difficult to keep track of what's running, who's using it, and maybe most importantly, how much it's all costing you.
But even with those challenges, the direction of travel is crystal clear. The future is automated. IAC isn't just some passing trend. It's a core pillar of modern practices like DevOps, and it is absolutely essential for anyone who wants to operate at scale in the cloud.
And you can see this in the tools that have popped up. You've got provisioning tools like Terraform that build the foundations, the servers, the networks. And then on top of that, teams often use configuration management tools like Ansible to actually install software and get those servers ready for action. It's super common to see them used together.
And if you're wondering why this matters so much, check this out. Gartner predicts that by 2025, a whopping 85% of companies are going to have a cloud-first strategy. When you're operating at that kind of scale in the cloud, trying to do things manually it's impossible. Automation through IAC stops being a luxury and becomes a basic necessity for survival. So all of this leaves us with one final, really important question to think about. As our infrastructure literally becomes code, what happens to the people who used to manage it? And the answer isn't about replacement. It's about evolution. It's a shift from being a manual operator to becoming a strategic automator. And honestly, that's a pretty powerful change. Thanks for tuning in for this explainer.